All right, guys, today we're going to do determinants of a 2 by 2 and a 3 by 3. So today we're going to do determinants. All right, so let's start with the 2 by 2. So we have A, B, and C and D. This is a 2 by 2 matrix. And to do its determinant, sometimes we're going to take it out of this bracket and put it into, it looks like kind of an absolute sign. But this means take the determinant. That means it's a value. There's got to be a value to this. And to do this, we are going to cross multiply A times D minus B times C. And it has to be in that way. You have to start with this upper left-hand corner times this minus this times that. So for instance, if we said find the determinant for the following, 0, -4, -6, -2. Well, I'm just going to rewrite it. And then I'm just going to multiply 0 times -2. I'm going to write it out so you can see it. And -4 times -6. So we end up with 0 minus 24, and we end up with a -24. Okay. So, I mean, that's all there is to these things. Again, I went from 0 times -2 minus -4 times -6. Here you go. 0 times -2, minus -4 times -6. Now, you don't have to do these steps. I mean, you can go from here to here and then go to the actual answer. So that's all there is for a 2 by 2. Now, for a 3 by 3, I chose two different ways to show you how to do a 3 by 3. The first method is by expansion. This is called expanding. We can do it by rows and or columns. So let me start with my 3 by 3. Let me start with letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I. Okay, so again, we have row 1, row 2, row 3, column 1, column 2, column 3. The good thing about expansion, it really doesn't matter what row and or what column you choose. So if you decide to do row 1, so we'll do row 1, and then we're going to start with A. We're going to block the row and column, and you see I'm left with E, F, H, I. So if I block A, if I do B, row and column, do you see the 4 that's left? D, F, G, I. And if I block C, D, E, G, H. That's if you did by row. Let's say you want to do it by column. Let me do column 2. So I start with B, that's in column 2, and I'm left with D, F, G, and I. Then I'm going to do the letter E. E gets this in the middle right here. I'm going to pretend the middle is gone. So I have A, C, G, I. And if I do the last one, which is H, I'm going to pretend that's gone. I'm left with A, C, D, and F. Now, the only thing that you have to worry about is we have a sign convention, and this is only used in the beginning to when you determine either the row or column. We're going to start with a plus. This is a plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus. So if let's say, if I determine I want to do row 3, I'm going to circle row 3. I'm going to expand by row 3. So it's going to be a positive G, and I know I'm going to get something. And then minus the H, whatever H is, and I know I'm going to end up with 4 things, and then plus I. And I know I'm going to end up with the 4. So if I do the G, that's gone, that's gone. Again, we don't look at these signs anymore. The signs are only for these three things over here. So when I take G out, there goes column and row. I'm left with B, C, E, F. When I take the H, column and row, A, C, D, F. And if I take out the I, A, B, D, E. And now what we are going to do, oh, look, this is a 2 by 2. This is what we did up here. So you're going to do this first, multiply by whatever this number is out here, and so on and so forth. All right, so let's give an example to this. And again, it really doesn't matter what row and or what column, but you have to abide by these sign convention for the three numbers that's on the outside. So if I did ABC, it would be row 1, that is. There'll be a positive A, minus B, and positive C. If I did row 2, I would end up with a negative D plus E minus F. Okay, so let's do a problem. Here we go. We get 3, negative 2, 1, 3, negative 1, negative 2, 3, negative 2, negative 3. And I want to find this determinant right here. And let's say, for the heck of it, I want to do row 2. Now, looking above, row 2, that's a negative, positive, and a negative. So let me set this up first before we do anything. So this is a negative 3. You see it? And then I'm going to end up with something. A positive, negative 1. So a positive times a negative is a negative. So I end up with a negative 1 with 4 things left. And then I have negative, negative 2. Negative times a negative is a positive 2 with 4 things left. All right, so now, as you see, the sign convention, I'm only using that for the first 3. So now, let's take out this 3, row and column. So the row is gone. This is the column. I'm left with negative 2, 1, negative 2, negative 3. Negative 1, row and column are gone. So 3, 1, 3, negative 3. And finally, the 2, I end up with 3, negative 2, 3, negative 2. All right, so now all I have to do is get the solution to this. So here we go. I got negative 3. Let's do this right here. I got negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6, minus 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. So negative, so this is 6 minus a negative 2, so that becomes 6 plus 2. Then I got my negative 1 here. I got negative 9 minus 3, plus I got my 2 here. Negative 6 minus a negative 6. So that gives me negative 6 plus 6. So we end up with negative 3 times 8 minus 1 times negative 12 plus 2 times 0. That's negative 24 plus 12 plus 0. That gives me a negative 12. So now we have a solution here to be the negative 12. Okay, so again, it doesn't matter which row or which column that you do, as long as you follow the sign conventions that posted over here. All right, so this is one way. It's called expansion. Let me do a second method for you. This is the 3 by 3. Okay, and I call this the easier way. Now, to do this method, let me go back to my letters real quick. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. And I want to take its determinant. Okay. So in the easy way, first I'm going to rewrite without these bars, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. And then I'm going to rewrite column 1 and column 2. I have ADG and I have BEH. So now I should have like a 3 by 5. I have 3 rows and 5 columns. So these are all numbers, they're just numbers. Watch how we're going to find its determinant. We're just going to do multiplying basic numbers, but we're going to go diagonally. We're going to start with A, as you see the 3 numbers there, AEI. We're going to multiply those. Then I'm going to do the BFG. And then I'm going to do your ADH. I'm going to find those numbers, multiply them, and then add them. And now I'm going to subtract the other direction. I'm going to start with B. BDI, AFH, and then finally CEG. You might be saying that's too much. Again, because I'm just showing you what to do. It looks a lot, but actually you're just multiplying numbers. And again, it's A times E times I. What I like to do when I'm multiplying numbers, I multiply the numbers, and then I tack the signs for negative or positive. Again, if you have odd number of negatives, the answer is negative. If you have even number of negatives, it's a positive. What do I mean? If this is a negative and this is a negative and this is a positive, so we have a negative times a positive. Well, first I multiply the numbers. I have 2 negatives. The answer is a positive. But if only E is negative, so I'm going to multiply the numbers A, E, and I, but since I only have 1 negative, the answer is going to be a negative. All right, so to demonstrate this, let's go back to that same problem that we did just a minute ago and prove it's negative 12 using this version. So here we go. We got 3, negative 2, 1, 3, negative 1, negative 2, 3, negative 2, negative 3. And what I'm going to do, it says take the determinant of this 3 by 3. So I'm going to rewrite this. And then I'm going to rewrite the first 2 columns, 3, 3, 3, negative 2, negative 1, negative 2. So here we go. You ready? So I'm going to do the multiplication. 3 times 1 times 3. 3 times 1 is 3, times 3 is 9. I have 2 negatives, so it's a positive 9. 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12. I have 2, so that's got to be a positive 12. 1 times 3 is 3, times 2 is 6. 1 negative, so that's a negative 6. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just a little bit easier. But you got to know how to multiply your basic numbers. 2 times 3 is 6, times 3 is 18. So that's a positive 18. I got 2 negatives there. 3 times 2 is 6, times 2 is 12. Even, so that's plus 12. 1 times 1 is 1, times 3 is 3. 1 negative, so that's a negative 3. And now all I have to do is finish this off. So I get 15 minus 30 minus 3 is 27. 15 minus 27 is negative 12. So as you see, we came to that same conclusion as the expansion. So I don't know which way method works for you. They both work out. This is a little bit easier. I mean, you don't, when you have this, you can just rewrite the first two columns there and just go these diagonals minus those diagonals. All right, so that's all there is to finding a determinant of a 2 by 2 and a 3 by 3. I will send out the homework shortly. All right, bye.